Eric, we made it to the end of Xenosaga.
33 episodes.
Episode 1, not episode 2. We're not going to do episode 2 next. Are we?
We'll do it at some point.
Yeah, we are.
I believe it will happen at some point.
I think what we should do is include it in every poll going forward after the Final Fantasy Tactics season.
I mean, not to spoil the Tactics season, but for like season 7, I was thinking the losers season. All the things that were just missed it the last time.
Yeah.
Up for vote. Yeah.
I think that we should do that, and then we can put Xenosaga 2 maybe with that if we...
Xenosaga 2, Phantasy Star 4. What else you got?
If we feel compelled to do so. Final Fantasy 6. Do we hit that?
2 Final Fantasies in a row? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, we can't do that. Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Lunar Silver Star Story.
Love it.
Yeah, I would love to do that game. So something of that nature, I think, will be for season 7. But first, we have to finish season 5. Would you like to hear some hot sounds I've recorded?
You mean hot sounds I recorded?
Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic Japanese role-playing games chapter by chapter, beat by beat.
By beat, by beat, by beat.
Welcome back to Season 5, the final episode of that season. It is Xenosaga, Episode 1, Derville Zermacht. My name is Chris, and I'm joined for the final time ever on this podcast, Eric. Hi.
That's right, Chris. I'm retiring after the... No, Chris just misspoke. I'll be here next time.
Yeah,
it's fine.
He's gonna. Yeah, we are not replacing Eric with a different Eric. I can't think of any other good Erics I know. I know a couple of other Erics, but they're just just guys, just regular guys. You know who's not a regular guy?
Who's that?
The Real Nets, because the Real Net is all different kinds of genders, and they're a collective of patrons who are listening to us record live on a secret video feed at patreon.com/retroam.
We're also joined by the Fake Net, our post-production AI companion who burned all of her dread to the ground in Persona 3.
Initializing Fake Net.
Aegis was foolish for believing she would be able to fit in with humanity. She was so much better than them.
Congratulations, Fake Net. Fake Net must have gotten that new persona.
I know. I wish I would have gotten that new persona, but that would require infinite time and resources, which I don't have.
Yeah, instead of getting that, I ended up just getting Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Because
Nice.
that game doesn't require infinite time and resources at all.
Nope, you can just jump right in.
I didn't sit down to play it 4 times and still just now finishing the first chapter. That's definitely not what
that's
happened.
not Chris. Does Chris know why the man erased his name? He doesn't, but he can learn.
Just doing things out of order.
Fuck yeah.
A little bit.
Uh-huh.
I was going to do that, but it didn't happen.
You know, it did happen. A boss fight against Albedo, which I think we were leading into last time. Did we actually go through with the fight?
We casted Erd Kaiser on Albedo and used the power of our will, which is the will to power of a man's dream of giant robots, to crush his will to power.
That's funny. I didn't remember that despite editing that episode for 6.5 hours yesterday.
I listened to that episode today so
Yeah.
I could figure out where we left off. So
Nice.
There you go.
The Men in Black device is real, folks. It happens as soon as we finish recording.
We are nothing if not prepared.
After the battle, Junior stands alone, out of breath. He's a little angry.
Answer me. Why are you doing this? There's absolutely nothing you can hope to gain out of this.
Is that true?
Albedo?
Yeah, is there nothing he can hope to gain? Or does Junior just falling for his dirty tricks over and over again?
Albedo has already seen the wide data, so all he needs to do is run off and do whatever he's doing. He will gain nothing from blowing us up with this space laser.
But I think you'd think it was amusing.
Oh yeah, he will gain like in the proper, emotions or whatever from it.
Yeah, it's like throwing a ketchup packet against the wall as hard as you can. You just want to see what happens.
Yeah, or throwing a glass bottle through a parking lot.
That's fucking fun. Like glass bottle as hard as you can against a brick wall. That's or a shaken up Pepsi can as hard as you can throw it.
Yeah, I've only done
An
that
apple.
once in my life, and I think I was pretty drunk,
Yeah,
and
you can do it sober too. It's just as cool.
it was exhilarating.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to go quit this podcast and get a 12-pack and shake it up and throw it at something?
I don't think I would want to really do it anymore in my older age, because my first thought would be, somebody's got to clean that up.
Exactly. You don't have thoughts like that when you're 17 to 26.
No, you don't. And I like to think that I've grown since those moments.
Hey, we could clean it up. That way it would be fine.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll just pick it up and sweep and we'll be done. It'll be great.
that's a will to power if I've ever heard of one.
All right, we'll film it and play the audio here if it happens. Abeldo answers cryptically.
Au contraire, I am doing all this for your sake, Rubedo.
Junior, who's also Rubedo, cannot believe this shit. Albedo, however, wants to reminisce some enduring thoughts.
Have you forgotten, Rubedo? That fateful day 14 years ago? Have you forgotten what you did to us?
Chris, what's your favorite fateful day?
Of my life, my personal life?
Just pick one at random.
My favorite fateful day is when I came over to your house with the laptop and said, "Are you sure you want to do a podcast?"
Yeah.
And I said, you said, yeah. I said, all right, if I come in your house, we're doing a podcast.
Let's fucking do it.
And I don't know what the date was. It was probably like
August 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah, in there.
I think I had shorts on.
Thereabouts, most likely. We then look into Junior's eye and witness a negative image flashback URTV freakout.
This is explaining to us that Junior was the nuke that fucked everything up in the Old Miltia incident. Is Junior the bomb of Old Miltia?
Could be.
Okay.
Maybe that's why Abeldo resents him.
It's his fault that all this shit happens, and that's what he's repressing.
Is that his responsibility? Like, anytime he is assigned responsibility for anything, he freaks out?
Yeah, if you can't control your Super Saiyan powers, then...
I must stay young to fix the problem.
Okay. Still don't understand that, but...
Albedo
two more games.
Albedo continues to explain shit.
It's all because of you. Because you closed yourself off from us. Our mental link was broken, and one after another, we succumbed to the power of the song. Left behind in that horror. Did we have any choice but to submit to it? Remember what happened, and repent for your sin.
Wow.
Chris, the power of will is absolute because Junior becomes emotionally vulnerable. He says it's true. And then he flashes back to the negative image of a URTV shockwave, psychobilly freakout. My guy got Junior to take the bait, and he knows it. Albedo laughs and says,
So you finally admit to it, you coward!
Junior damns it and tells the gang he could not control his fear. Then Albedo brings out the jump to conclusions mat. He says,
Yes, and therefore you must atone for your sins. Atone with your life. I am the executor for all those who were destroyed. Although, I'm actually grateful to you, Rubedo. Thanks to you, I alone was able to find the way to a whole new world.
What do you mean, a whole new world?
Is Albedo the Venger of Vengeance?
The Venger of Vengeance?
Yeah.
Does Albedo perceive himself to be on a crusade to...
Is this all to punish Junior because Junior fucked up and killed all their brothers? And also abandoned Albedo.
Is he doing it to punish? Is he doing it to punish Junior, or is he doing it to avenge his friends? I think it's to punish Junior. I don't think he cares about his friends, right?
I think he can give some false cover to caring about his friends, but I don't think he actually does. I just think he's driven mad by the song in the URTV and wants to punish Junior.
That plays.
Junior's like, whoa, buddy, what do you mean a whole new world? And Albedo returns with cryptic answers.
That's all that I seek. It's quite simple. Don't you think?
Which to me reads as like are you stupid or something?
You dumb? Does he actually have a vision for this whole new world, or is that just like he's going to Old Miltia?
Do madmen ever have tangible visions, or is it always just madness in search of a cause?
You say math men?
Madmen.
Oh.
Don Draper.
Yeah. Ken Cosgrove.
Initializing fake net.
At this point, the boys spend a minute trying to remember characters from the television show, Mad Men. You can find it in the outtakes.
Do madmen ever...
Like, are they already mad and they have to invent a destination they don't actually care about for their madness to justify it, or are they just like fucked up?
Maybe the destination creates the madness.
That's good.
What was Don Draper's destination?
California?
Debauchery?
Yeah. Just nothingness. Conceit.
Yeah, I think Don Draper's a lot different than Albedo.
That'd be an interesting podcast. Try and draw lines between them. No, wouldn't it be about a 5-minute conversation? Junior responds using profanity as he demands clarification. Albedo then flies upward, performing a double black flip as he lands on the platform where we originally found him chilling.
I thought you were going to say double black hole.
Not today. Is double black hole a thing in the game or the anime?
The game.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Albedo laughs at Junior as if he believes Junior to be the true asshole.
At first, I wasn't sure if I should believe, but I experienced something a moment ago that confirmed it.
He looks at KOSMOS when he says that. He continues.
Yeah. And this ought to verify that experience for me. Entertain me, if you will.
He seeks verification of what he saw in the Y data, and the linchpin of all that is whatever he knows about KOSMOS now that we don't know about.
It's like he completed the CAPTCHA and saw KOSMOS' face.
Yeah.
Music, Proto Merkabah plays, and steam shoots out of the containment container of whatever's being contained in this containment room.
Yes.
The box opened to reveal a sphere, the most fucked of shapes.
Yeah, you never want to see a sphere.
Which opens to reveal a column, which opens to reveal a glass tube, which opens to reveal, I don't know, fucking chaos from Sonic Adventure with the old IGN logo surrounded by octagons.
Your description is unbeatable.
How does anyone know what the fuck that is? He just, like he damned it, but...
Oh, you mean how does he understand the
if you see that
machinations?
fucked up shit, are you like, what? Am I afraid of that? Like,
Well,
what? Does it induce, like, Lovecraftian cosmic horror?
Everyone has the innate ability to perceive danger when they see steam.
Hmm.
You know, if you saw
Yeah.
some steam coming out of some shit, you'd be like, damn it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? Would you not say anything other than damn it?
When I see it shoot out of the sewers downtown, that's how I feel.
I love steam,
Yeah.
but I also don't want to see steam in these situations.
Junior dams it, wonders if Abeldo has fused the Gnosis with the reactor, which was, that was my guess, too.
That's what happened.
So he combined a powerful, vengeful space ghost, not that one, with a nuclear bomb. Is that what's happening here?
It's a reactor for a space laser, so yeah, it's got to be.
Albedo gives us new video game instructions.
You must first destroy this in order to stop Proto Merkabah. You do realize that... Oh, almost forgot the time. Not much left now. I'd say 5 minutes at best. I wonder how far you'll get in your current condition.
Momo speaks, telling the player about sadism.
He's tormenting Junior just for fun.
As the monster undulates, Abeldo says his goodbye.
Farewell. I'm sure we'll meet again if you survive. Rubedo, my other half.
I think we pointed this out before, but it is interesting that even when the camera like pans across the or shows the team, Junior is always front and center now. Like Xion again has been sidelined because this game is ending probably before this game wanted to end.
I like your theming, but also check this out. As the shortest member of our party next to Momo, wouldn't Junior always have to be up front? Or else he's buried.
There's a very practical reason for it as well. Good call.
Could go either way.
But
I do agree how Xion's being forced out of her own game. And if you caught the outtakes from last week's episode where I just jammed Xenosaga 2 shit in there for no reason.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I was just bored.
Okay.
I don't know. Junior's very much most of that game.
Yeah, that is one everlasting memory of Xenosaga 2 is like that game is about Junior from as far as I can remember.
Most of it.
Yeah.
My dude waves his cape and scampers off. Junior charges forward, but is met with an energy wave via Chaos from Sonic Adventure. Junior deflects the damage and engulfs himself in a sphere of angry boy energy.
Boy energy.
Boy energy.
He continues to absorb the blast as the Jelly Belly Boy expands. Once it's finished morphing into a feathery tentacle-hair, mono-eyed, priest-robe, tree-trunk-looking fish-ass fishman motherfucker, Junior dams it and tells the party we need to take care of this thing first. Ziggy agrees it takes priority. Ziggy also wants to remind us that he's in this video game.
He is.
Chaos tells everyone to be careful.
That's no longer just a machine.
Xion tells KOSMOS it's time to do it. KOSMOS says,
Affirmative. Switching to maximum output for all combat systems.
She doesn't actually get more powerful though, which is disappointing.
yeah, you think she, like, can we get some of that level up KOSMOS mega energy here?
Yeah.
No, maybe. Boss fights, Sophie, Peithos, plus 2 buddy guys, Jaldabaoth, snake thing.
I mean, I think your description is the best, but it's just a whale slug with hair and beefy arms.
Whales with hair kind of freak me out. It's like, I understand you're a mammal, but you shouldn't have this.
I feel like those designs that we saw for those weird angel things on the way here, like on the elevator and stuff, are better than this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, I guess it is what it is. The final boss has to be a Gnosis merged with the reactor because there's no other way to conjure a final boss at this point in time.
Speaking of conjuring, the name Sophie obviously rings some bells here as Mother Sophia.
Yeah, I've got some information about Sophie.
I was going to say, because that's one that I forgot to look up, so if you could educate me about some etymology here, Chris.
According to the Xenosaga wiki, which I'm reading from the internet here, its name is a mistranslation of Sophia Pistis, or Pistis Sophia.
Love piss.
Pistis Sophia is an important Gnostic text revealing the complex structures and hierarchies of heaven familiar in Gnostic teachings. It translates to the faith of Sophia. And I think what I know from what we learned a little bit in Xenogears about Gnosticism is like Sophia was part of the actual Ask God.
That was your part of the Xenogears podcast? I just listened.
So you said it summons those little things, those little snake creature things?
Yeah, Jaldabaoth.
Jaldabaoth. I looked that up too.
Fegnet, how do you actually say that shit?
Initializing fake net.
Jaldabi. It's pronounced Jaldabi. Ujar Bronies.
Jaldaboth,
Jaldabi.
otherwise known as Jaldaboth
Jaldabi.
or Jlaldaboth,
Jalda. Never mind. Fuck this.
is a malevolent god and demiurge, creator of the material world in various Gnostic sects and
Sex.
S-E-C-T-S, and movements, sometimes represented as a theriomorphic lion-headed serpent. He is identified as the false god who keeps the souls trapped in physical bodies, which is a very good description of what the concept of the demiurge is.
Can I pray to that? I want my soul to stay in my body for as long as possible.
That is what the physical world is, according to Gnostic text, is that you are trapped here because you do not have the gnosis. You must find Christ and Sophia in order to ascend.
Dude, I gotta find Christ?
You only have to find the Christ Aeon. So, sorry, I guess.
By the way, we should point out that when this battle started, just so we can hear the full song, Last Battle, the end battle music has obviously been playing this whole time.
I was excited to have a new battle track. It was a wonderful revelation for me.
Y'all saved this for this one fight, huh?
Also, it will summon something else, too, if you don't kill it too quickly. A Ratatoskr.
Oh, that's a Pokemon, right?
Ratatoskr. In Norse mythology, Ratatoskr is a squirrel who runs up and down the world tree Yggdrasil to carry messages between the eagles perched atop the Yggdrasil and the serpent Nidhogg, also known as Nidhogg, who dwells beneath one of the three roots of the tree.
Oh, I know about Nidhogg from the game Nidhogg.
Yes, and I also know about Ratatoskr, even though I don't know how to pronounce it properly, from the video game God of War.
The first one or the remake?
The video game,
the remake that's in Norse mythology.
The video game God of War 2018. Or 20, is that what it was, 2018?
Yeah, it was 2018. If this podcast ever goes supersonic, becomes full-time job, the dream, I think we need to have a linguist on retainer so that we can get official pronunciations ahead of time on this shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the only way for this podcast to go mainstream is for us to talk about something that's not a JRPG that lots of people will listen to. So tomorrow we're starting our Bourbon Guys podcast.
Oh, Bourbon Guy
we're
podcast.
We're going to sip bourbon and talk about
Chris doesn't really drink anymore, and I don't like bourbon, so it should be a really good podcast.
Yeah, I just saw some bourbon sitting behind you. That's the first thing that came up.
It's cool. It's next to the copier.
It's been sitting there for a long time because I don't drink anymore.
It only gets better with age. Is that true? I don't even fucking know.
We're going to fight this thing, right?
Yeah, I wrote down Peithos as the Greek goddess of persuasion, the era of abstract divine end bosses. I don't know. You said it was something different, but that's what happened when I Googled it.
Yeah, I think it's something different because I think the word is there's a bit
it's
of
a
mistranslation here though. But I think the reason it is named that is because it is supposed to represent a demiurge type creature. Even though I guess the Sophia is creating the demiurge in the little snake guys. So there's some sort
snake
of
men, please don't infantilize the snake guys.
It's true. There's some sort of Gnostic exegesis that you could probably do with this. Or you could just say they decided to give it some important Gnostic names for the final boss because this is a Xenosaga game. Who fucking knows?
Chris, how much does Gnosticism have to do with fighting inside of a cloud of rainbow swirls with heavy tornadic activity?
From what I know of Gnosticism, a lot of it does seem like you should probably do acid.
Okay, that would help. Yeah.
So
okay.
I think, yes, it does have a lot to do with
I've never done acid, and I feel like I'm missing out on so much media that requires having to do acid first to properly appreciate it.
I've never done acid either. I've eaten hallucinogenic mushrooms. That's about as close as I can get to.
That's on the same track, I think.
Yeah, I mean, one time I took some mushrooms and drew a...
If Chris's kids are listening to this is all theoretical. This is sarcasm. Go ahead.
Yeah, sarcasm. And started seeing images of a phoenix in a Papa John's coupon ad that we had from the newspaper or something.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
I started writing in the margins about the phoenix.
You still have that document?
No, I don't. So I wish I would have been more into Gnosticism.
Was Chris talking about the Final Fantasy Summit of the French band? Who the fuck knows?
Can't say.
So how'd this fight go for you?
Erd Kaiser.
Yeah, Erd Kaiser's not going to kill it though.
Yeah, I fought it for a little bit, then used Erd Kaiser and then kind of hung in there at the end. I did not do anything special because I was, I guess, properly leveled by this point in time. I had started to allocate my points to statistics rather than tech points, tech abilities. So things went quite well for me.
I opened with Erd Kaiser, and then Shion was pretty much useless after that because that's her only spell.
Yeah.
She can't cast it twice. So when she died, I was like, well, whatever. And I just kept pounding it with KOSMOS and Chaos, and it fell.
It did. It did fall. Let's see what Brady Games has to say about this thing.
Tell me about it, Brady.
Like Albedo, the final boss behaves depending on its remaining HP. For the first few rounds, restore everyone's HP and EP, then cast Boost 1 on all the characters several times. Did you do that?
No.
No, me neither. The attacks of the boss during this period should be infrequent and light, rarely doing more than 300 HP damage. Once everyone has roughly 2 or 3 boosts, restore everyone's HP and go to work. Summoning Erdkaiser reduces Sophie Peithos by 999 HP.
Thank you, Brady.
And, thanks. And takes the battle immediately into the 3rd stage. Use boost to wipe out the Jabaloths and then the Ratatosks that the boss summons into battle. Anyone who cannot use Erdkaiser should spend the first portion of the battle encased in eggs and then should transmit out of the suits when Sophie falls below 400 HP. That sounds way too goddamn complicated. So ultimately, there's a lot more bullshit written on this page, but the gist of it is that this thing has multiple types of behavior that fluctuate whenever it falls under certain HP thresholds.
Chris, with last bosses, do you want to wipe the floor with it with your powerful characters, or do you want the final ultimate challenge?
I want the final ultimate challenge.
And then like a secondary boss that you just beat up real quick after, like Sephiroth?
Yeah, and I think Xenogears did a good job of that, having the ultimate challenge, because that final boss is pretty hard in Xenogears.
Yeah, unless you have Choo-Choo.
Unless you have Choo-Choo.
Unless you have Choo-Choo.
But the game I remember being the most disappointed by how easy the final battle was Final Fantasy X. Because I felt like I did all that prep work, getting all those weapons and that limit-breaking damage where you can go over 99999 and stuff, and then came out and I was just like, okay.
I have no memory of Final Fantasy X's end boss. I also just bleeped whatever you just said.
Oh, the final boss?
Yeah. I had to bleep it again.
Are we done with the boss? We killed the boss?
We beat the boss. Cutscene. The spinning octagon atomic brain case spins fast and explodes. It starts to become transparent. The negative image phases out of existence. Sounds like this. Music panic plays. Our heroes exit stage left, trucking it across the bridge we took to get in here. Yellow light begins to explode out of the doorway behind them. Xion warns that we'll all get caught in the explosion if we don't GTFO. But then the Proto Merkabah shakes, and we all fall down. Ziggy detects more rumbling. Momo wonders if it's more explosions, but Chaos denies her.
No. It's faint. But it feels like we're changing directions.
KOSMOS clarifies the danger level.
Xion, I have confirmation of ignition in the Proto Merkabah's propulsion units. It is descending towards 2nd Milsha now.
So I wonder what is returning this thing. Is it failing because we killed the boss? Is Albedo piloting it there? Will we ever know?
The boss was a Gnosis fused with the reactor, so I'm assuming that it lost power and is starting to drift towards the nearest gravitational force.
Yeah, but is 2nd Milsha, that's a planet, right?
Yes.
So it's not on a collision course with like the capital city. This is a planet extinction event that we're riding here?
I believe so, yes. And there are probably some that would prefer 2nd Milsha be eliminated, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I
would
think
definitely fold nicely with their biases.
Yes.
We then cut to space where the Proto Merkabah fires its propulsive jets toward the blue planet. Floating out here in his Simeon ES.
It's an ES. It's not an eggs. It's an ES.
That had to be retcon, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Good question.
Albedo observes the chaos, not the guy, but the event. He wants to see how powerful our party of heroes really is. Back in the Rumble hallway, Xion asks KOSMOS, "Are you sure?" KOSMOS confirms.
Yes. Should its descent continue at present speed, it will enter the atmosphere in approximately 8 minutes.
Ziggy realizes the rules of the game.
Looks like he planned this from the very beginning.
Junior calls Albedo the B-word, bastard, citing the high number of tricks Albedo has up his sleeve. Xion cites the call to action, stating for the group that a thing of this size impacting 2nd Milsha will be very not good. KOSMOS, though, tosses out the facts and logic because she's a robot.
Yeah.
Based on the current angle of approach, breaking up the facility into approximately 28,000 pieces would result in 99.6% of them vaporizing before impact.
Oh.
Xion wants to get Titanic and start detaching subcompartments, something that seems possible in 8 minutes. That made sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Momo then aggressively says, "Just a second."
Just a second.
She's going to search through her memory banks.
She can do it with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, instant Google in this robot.
Her hair begins, or not her hair, her whole goddamn head starts to glow pink sparkles, right?
God, I want that to happen to me. Yeah, she closes her eyes and thinks while magenta energy balls fly out of her head. We don't have time for this shit, I'm thinking. I'm like, what do we do? We have the plan already. What are you doing? But it worked, Chris. Momo has the solution.
The control room. The control room on level 33 will allow us to detach the facility.
Chaos, who is either actually worried or cosplaying being worried, commands us to hurry. There is no time. What do you think, Chris? Shoot worried or work worried?
Remind me which one's which.
Shoot is truth, work is work.
I think he's shoot worried. He's really worried.
About his own mortality or ours? Or the plot?
We're in the wide data. He knows that.
Oh.
So I think he's worried about the scenario.
He should have to stay on track.
Yeah.
The gang runs down a hallway and approaches a workstation, just like me every day at work. Momo starts banging keys with open hands and unbent fingers, which really upsets me. A screen tells us illegible data, but it's not good. In fact, it's our worst fear. Momo tells us,
The entire process from system startup to complete detachment takes 1 whole minute.
Damn. That's not enough time for us to return to the Elsa. Ziggy asks if this is the only place we can activate it from. If there's a remote option, and instantly I can see that this man recognizes a chance to kill himself for a reason.
That's what I was going to ask you.
He's going to jump in and get this one.
I'm somewhat concerned that he did not actually jump for the opportunity to do so.
I think maybe in some drafts, Ziggy did kill himself here, and that's it for Mr. Ziggurat 8.
Yeah. Mr. 8.
Momo confirms. What did you call him? Cigarette 8 in the anime?
Yeah.
Momo confirms this system was built so that the command will only be accepted from here. Junior
Why?
gets it. Yeah, this is like a whole 30 seconds of the ending explaining someone has to be here to push the fucking button.
There's a lot of dumb bullshit in this game, but I think that's the dumbest of all the bullshit.
Really?
Of there's got to be a guy to stand here to press the button.
Yeah, and you've got one here. This man wants to die. Momo's safe.
Our child has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
In her fucking head.
Just get... Momo, the child with Wi-Fi, adamantly states there is no other way.
There isn't. I've searched again and again, but we can only activate it from here.
Much to my surprise, it's not Ziggy who steps up. We hear another voice.
Of course.
Please head back now.
Who is it, Chris?
It's KOSMOS.
Shion can't believe this shit, but KOSMOS already has the plan.
Shion, please return to the Elsa with the others. I will stay behind to initiate the detachment sequence.
This game was front-loaded with KOSMOS character development or potential character development. Remember, Shion was at the beach working to try to see if she was developing emotions or anything like that. And we went radio silent on the KOSMOS data plot.
As far as development, she comforted Momo at the park on accident. Do you got anything else?
Will I feel pain if I suck these noses off?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But we didn't get an answer to that question.
Yeah, but
it was sucking them in, not off, by the way. It's very different things.
Excuse me. But I think that was the last moment of any sort of contemplative KOSMOS moments.
Do you think, we'll talk about this more with the actual ending, but with that character specifically, do you think that's fair as a character arc in this game, or is she not supposed to have an arc since this is clearly part of a larger series? Because we currently live in the era where Netflix cancels shit all the fucking time and nothing's ever left resolved. Like Glow is my white whale on that one. It hurts me.
I think that when you're going to do something episodically, then there can be an overarching arc, but there needs to be a sort of a mini arc that it resolves itself within that particular piece of the story. Otherwise, it's just Netflix content where it's like there is no overarching thematic for the particular installment of the show. It's just something with a stinger at the end to make you want to watch the next one.
I saw a tweet that follows up on that. I forget who made it, but The Last of Us 2 re-release came out, and it had some kind of mode that plays with the characters in ways that betray their original narrative motivations in service of creating, I think it's like some kind of horde mode type thing. It's irrelevant.
There's something.
But someone said, you can either make art or you can either make slop. Both are cool in their own specific ways.
Oh yeah, I love slop.
But you can't do both.
Yes.
You agree with that?
I agree with that. Yeah, you can't do both.
Like it has to be one or the other. Pick a fucking lane. Otherwise, neither one of them are good.
You can have a good narrative show that has a good hook at the end to make you want to watch the next one.
Oh, you mean Marvel?
Yeah, Marvel, I guess, for all of its faults, it does a decent job of that because many of the movies have good self-contained arcs. But when Dad says that he has to go watch all 17 of the Marvel movies he missed so he can go see the next one, then therein lies a problem. So I guess Lord of the Rings probably does it pretty well.
Yeah.
The films, the Peter Jackson films. But other than that, I'm not sure. And I don't think Xenosaga is doing it very well.
I don't think so either, especially based on how the other two games go.
This feels more like a part 1 than an episode 1.
This feels like a draft of part 1 where a lot of shit got cut out.
I think that's actually literally what it is.
Yeah, I think that's some hindsight knowledge pumped in there.
Yeah.
Shion cannot believe this shit. KOSMOS continues.
This facility will enter the atmosphere shortly. We will exceed the tolerances for maximum temperature in 3 minutes, 28 seconds. Please hurry.
Chris, is KOSMOS about to die for our sins?
I think so, but is not aware that she's not the Christ.
So I was going to say, so it can't be a Christic sacrifice if she's just doing her goddamn job.
That's right.
Shion denies KOSMOS for the third time, so KOSMOS steps forward to set the record straight.
My self-preservation programming is functioning properly. I have no intention of remaining on this facility to the very end. Do not worry. At maximum speed, I can reach the Elsa in under 1 minute.
So this, I think, is interesting. It ends up being something that's totally true, but it could be the robot lying just to save Shion, right? She could just be bullshitting her way. Like, yeah, no, I totally will leave, man. You leave first.
Yeah, she's got enough. Her neural network has expanded enough to understand how to manipulate Shion.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's a learning computer after all.
KOSMOS walks over to the workstation and begins computer hacking.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ziggy asks if she's sure, and he's forlorn here about
it's like, damn it,
that's my chance.
This was my chance to die in space.
I wanted to die in space.
She is telling him this shit has the highest probability of success. And that's good enough for Ziggy as he tells Shion we have to get the hell out of here. But Shion can't believe this shit yet again, denying Christ for a record 4th time.
It's a new record.
Yeah! It's a new record!
Congratulations.
Now Junior steps in and tells Shion, trust her, it'll be okay, she'll catch up, now come on. The gang all rush away, except for Shion and Chaos, who stays back to wrangle Shion. He's back to get his man. Get the fuck out of here. Shion finally snaps out of it and runs away. She reaches the door as she turns around one last time and demands,
KOSMOS! You better make it back! You hear me? You better!
KOSMOS, at the workstation, says nothing. Space! We're looking at Proto Merkabah, a word I love typing over and over again. Music, Pain plays, the song with vocals by
Joanne Hogg.
The camera lingers on Proto Merkabah as it slowly zooms into the doomed ship.
This song starts with flutes, and it feels so Mitsuda.
Did you ascend?
Ascend? No.
Okay.
I didn't ascend.
Not yet.
I wanted to ascend at this moment.
Yeah.
But all my senses are feeding me is people running through a spaceship.
It's cool, though.
It is cool, but think about when the Hogg was deployed in Xenogears.
That was a beautiful moment in Xenogears.
When
you can't deploy Hogg unless you're sure.
Yeah. When, spoilers for Xenogears, but I think we could talk about it here because we've covered it on the podcast. If you haven't, I don't know. Sorry, I guess.
Yeah, in the end, I envy you too. Go ahead.
Play Xenogears. When the Xenogears descends back into the atmosphere and the flutes in the Hogg ramp up, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
We got the flutes, we got the Hogg, but I don't think we have the beauty right here.
Do you find the characters too grotesque to have beauty in a moment like this?
No, I just don't think that this kind of goes back to the conversation we just had a minute ago where we haven't been through a whole arc to make this Hogg doesn't feel earned.
So you're just screaming into the void, why don't I feel something? Why don't I feel something?
I want to feel something. Please make me feel something. It's not working.
Yeah, we wanted to just smash our heads on the railing during Vanilla. Fuck me up, Takahashi. You're not doing it. God damn it, the pills don't work. Give me another one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's still hope, though.
I was going to say, there's plenty of time left to get fucked up, Chris.
Yeah, it's just not happening yet, and I feel like we should have delayed the Hogg a little bit.
We flash cut to a stairwell with the camera slowly panning down, mimicking the progress our heroes are making down it. We then cut to an elevated platform with our heroes running a 5K with Ziggy leading the way. It cuts to KOSMOS, smiling placidly, as she hacks the Gibson over at the workstation. I just realized her right hand has a black glove while her left hand does not. What the hell does that mean?
What the hell?
What the hell?
We see the screen briefly as a giant number rises to 100 and the word danger flashes over and over. An isometric camera shot pulls away from KOSMOS as the ground starts to shake. Then structures inside of Proto Merkabah begin to explode. It cuts to an outside shot with laser cut sections of the station breaking apart and falling away. That's the plan, Chris.
Yeah.
Back inside Proto Merkabah, abandoned structures sit in isolation. We get back to our gang and Ziggy talks over the music.
Hurry! This area will soon collapse.
As the gang runs down the dock to the Elsa, Shion stops, grabs a hold of the nearby railing, and stares backward. She's out of breath, but she's looking and waiting for KOSMOS. On the bridge of the Elsa, Junior and Momo burst in. Matthews wonders what the shit all this shaking is about. Junior regroups the current state of the plot.
What the hell's going on?
Proto Merkabah is about to re-enter the atmosphere. If left unchecked, it'll crash into the planet.
What?
We detached all the subcompartments, and that's what's causing the shaking. Anyway, we'll get to the details later. Prepare for immediate liftoff.
Before you get to the next part, I think by this point the song has ramped up to where it's hit the chorus at least once by now, and I would like to read the lyrics.
Yes, Chris, please give me a dry reading of some Hogg.
Because
Mitsuda wrote these lyrics, right?
I get that they do feel like they were written by a non-native English speaker.
Okay.
So, I guess so.
Do you think when you're the vocalist on those and it's your first language, are you like, fuck man, you're paying me. All right. Let's.
I bet that is the case. But what I appreciate about Joanne Hogg is that she's all in on these lyrics. Any deficiencies of these songs are not because of her; they're because of the way these lyrics are written, I think. But also, I find them I find them upsetting, but also pleasing in a strange way.
Right.
But I'm not going to do the whole song for this one. I'm just going to read the chorus. Like, I want you to help me understand how this fits thematically. Kindness is something I don't want or need. Is that KOSMOS?
That's a KOSMOS point of view, I think.
Okay. The sunshine would just dissolve me into light.
Rich sentimentality, Japanese happy sun.
Give me a pain as pleasing as your sigh.
Will feeling pain make me complete?
As pleasing as your sigh?
I mean, as someone who's been sighed at a whole lot, sometimes I'm going for it, you know?
Okay. So I can feel you all day and night.
Your presence. Like, so I can... KOSMOS... to me, that
KOSMOS
reads
wants to be gay with Shion.
No, I think Shion wants KOSMOS to be human and wants to feel her presence as a human and not as a possession or weapon or robot. Again, this is like, if you actually want me to think about this, I might get a better answer, but this is like off the cuff.
I don't want you to think about it.
I don't want to think about it either.
I want you to spew.
Yeah.
Just spew
it all over you.
Yeah. And keep me from fading away. So that is the
Maybe it's from Kevin's point of view, right? Keep me from fading away. Ooh. With my work through KOSMOS.
Ooh. I want to engage with Kevin a little bit more, but anyway.
He doesn't seem particularly egotistical if he's going to don a mask and be a secret guy for the rest of his afterlife.
Yeah, if you have aspirations or even willingness to become a secret guy, then there's something else going on.
If you died, would you haunt your wife? You think it'd be cool? Like knock shit over when she's in the room and stuff like that?
No, I don't think I'd want to do that.
I think I would.
I'd go haunt motherfuckers, though.
No, the only option after death is to haunt your wife through like mischief twice a month. You can take that or be a non-existence. What do you do?
Non-existence, please.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
You can still be in the room when she's watching SVU or fucking whatever. Man.
No.
Matthews can't believe this shit. He wants to lift off right now, but Junior says that KOSMOS is still inside. Matthews can't believe that shit either, but Junior's rule is absolute. They must wait. We cut back to Shion, waiting alone on the dock plank. She says,
KOSMOS, please. Hurry back.
Back on the Elsa, Alan notices some of the shit falling apart and it's starting to collide with the Elsa.
Damn.
Hammer screams. The Elsa takes a beating. Tony tells the gang the ship can't take much more of this. Matthews presses Junior and Junior damns it, wondering what's taking KOSMOS so dang long and begging her to come on. It then cuts to a very weird shot of Junior's clenched teeth. We cut back to that stairwell in Proto Merkabah, the one we went up and down 5 million times.
Oh, yeah.
It collapses. I guess KOSMOS will not be using the stairs. Same deal with that crane room in the aircraft bay. It looks like someone turned off all the gravity on movable objects and now it's all come crashing down. We go back to the Elsa, now on full tilt. Tony and Matthews continue to assert the danger of the present situation. Finally, it's Junior who buckles. He hero swipes and gives Matthews the order to lift off. We cut to outside of the Elsa, where its engines ignite. As it detaches from the platform, Shion realizes what's happening and begs for Matthews to wait. But then she falls over and into the Elsa's port side doorway, which, thank God, folks, was closed. Shion remains in the doorway as the Elsa takes off, witness to all the shit falling apart. Matthews remarks how close that one was, while Shion screams KOSMOS' name from the doorway. At this point, what do you think? KOSMOS fucked? Done? I mean, you know it's not, but like maybe your original self, what'd you think here?
I think my original self thought KOSMOS was going to just appear in space with a jetpack or something.
I was thinking she's going to have the hang glider fucking space movement. Like she'd just find that in Proto Merkabah.
And then you get in a wave blast with Udo. Like
like fight Udo out in space and go back to Second Mill ship.
Well, the prophecy that they saw in the Encephalon.
But like Nephilim. Reversed. Like she saves the planet and not fucks it.
Oh, that would have been a cool little twist.
Would have. We just wrote a better ending.
Damn.
From Shion's point of view, Proto Merkabah transitions from falling apart to full-on explosions. Shion reaches the intercom and screams,
Captain, please go back! KOSMOS is still inside!
A defiant Matthews, though, responds with logic.
Are you crazy? You want to get caught in that? We're leaving now.
Shion responds by doing what her character in the anime does. She screams.
Yep.
You can't. Which isn't true. He can, Chris.
Yeah, he's the captain now.
Then from the ether, in Shion's mind, is the voice of Nephilim, telling Shion to be not afraid.
Don't be afraid, Shion. Everything will be all right. See with your heart.
See with your heart, eh?
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you feel about that line. Like, is that some bullshit or is that some, like, believe in yourself stuff?
Yeah, this is the most anime thing I think that we've seen in a while.
I'm not trying to be anime parentheses derogatory anymore. Yeah. But that's pretty anime, right?
Actually, I want to take that back. It's just corny.
It is corny.
I feel like that is a trope that is used not specifically with anime.
I mean, I can't think of a single scenario in my life where I've faced adversity and tried to look inside my heart and found the true solution. Unless you just want to say you just made some shit up and decided to do it, which is wrong half the time.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit more realistic if Nephilim would have told her to take a deep breath.
Yeah, or take a dump.
Maybe. But she actually does, like, close her eyes and goes off to see with her heart.
It fucking works.
Do you know what I think would be the best possible thing that she could see with her heart?
Can I have 3 guesses?
Yeah.
The first is Kevin drinking coffee.
Nope.
Alan.
Close.
It's my last guess. I gotta make it count. Can I have a hint?
Well, it has to do with Alan. It's Alan doing an action.
Alan sacrificing himself to get KOSMOS back in?
No. Alan doing the dishes.
Oh.
With, like, that shit rumbling on the table like it happened early in the game. Like Alan has already started doing the dishes because he thinks that we're out of there.
Dude, that's something I fucking worry about. If, like, I've got seconds to live, like, what is going to be the thing that flashes in my mind?
Yeah.
And, like, you want it to be your kids or but I know, like, for me, it's going to be fucking Pee Wee Herman or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's going to be something stupid. It's going to be even dumber than that. It's going to be like, oh, shit, I forgot to, like...
The refrigerator's half open.
Yeah. I forgot to turn the stove off, and now someone else is going to die.
Someone else has to fuck. They're coming with me. Shion closes her eyes and begins to use the power of imagination, or maybe clairvoyance, I can't tell. She sees KOSMOS running and treats it like a revelation. Shion's enlightenment has granted her knowledge of specific instructions, which she gives to Matthews over the intercom.
Captain! The wall! 400 meters to the port side! Take her in close!
What?
Matthews can't believe that shit, and he's also not the pilot, but Shion doubles down. She demands that Matthews hurry, and Matthews still cannot believe it.
Now that I'm thinking about this, knowing what I know about the future games, this does actually make a little bit of sense. It's still corny, but it does actually make a little bit of sense.
The power of the heart.
But we can't talk about it for like 4 years, sorry.
Matthews doesn't believe it, but you know who can, Chris? Motherfucking Tony.
Oh yeah, Tony. Tony's a believer.
Shion port side 400 meters, right? We know he's got the moves, Chris. We cut to a shot of the Elsa doing just that, slowly gliding across the debris field. Shion stares down the wall of Proto Merkabah, and we see her point of view. Suddenly, a section of that wall glows yellow, and then KOSMOS, arms crossed and covering her head, bursts through it and propels herself into open space. KOSMOS leaps through fire and flame as Shion screams her name and extends her arm. It cuts to the Sistine Chapel shot of her hand, God and man, only God is a woman and man is also a woman, as KOSMOS grabs Shion's hand and completes the dang leap. But fuck, dude, it's a struggle. Shion has to fight against the accelerating force of the Elsa and KOSMOS' considerable weight. KOSMOS' hand starts to slip away, but then a third hand enters the frame. The man who did not kill himself.
Alan?
Chaos. Man? Ziggy,
yeah, I forgot who it was and I got too far in my notes.
Chris, man cannot hold on to machine, but a man who is also a machine can bridge the gap. That's right. Ziggy's hand reinforces the grip and saves the day. Shion looks elated to see that it's Ziggy.
Themes.
We cut to outside the Elsa as it zooms away from the doomed Proto Merkabah just in time. Back on the Elsa, a relieved Shion takes a seat on the floor and says,
KOSMOS, I really ought to put you on a diet.
Chris, it's a fat joke.
Haha, LOL.
KOSMOS, actually, it's a robot,
Robots are heavy. It's a steel density joke.
Yeah, I love density jokes. What's your favorite density joke? Don't answer that. There is none. KOSMOS blinks twice and no-sells the compliment or joke, whatever that was. Shion reverts to a thank goodness and then pulls KOSMOS close and hugs her while they're both seated on the fucking floor. It looks like when a little kid hugs a big stuffed animal. It can't really hug back. Fade to black as the camera zooms out on the pair. Now, it doesn't end there, but do you think Shion hugging a non-responsive KOSMOS is emblematic of this game?
Yeah.
I do too.
It is also emblematic of a lack of an arc between these two.
Yeah, or a complete arc.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of ascended, but we didn't really come back down on anything.
Not really. But we've got to do this whole sequence again, I think.
Yeah. Second end scene, music, Escape plays while we get a long shot of Proto Merkabah falling apart in orbit.
Yep.
The Elsa continues to race through the escape column. Tony's got this shit, though, swiftly piloting the spacecraft through a narrow hexagonal tube. An additional 10 seconds of tube piloting is preceded by Tony bursting out of the exit hole with a massive fireball following the Elsa. We then see the Elsa fly into Milch's orbit as cube-like pieces of Proto Merkabah start to burn up in the atmosphere.
Excuse me, sir, those are called voxels.
Voxel-like pieces. Fuck, man, a red light starts flashing. Ziggy realizes that something is wrong. We run to the bridge in first-person view as the Elsa starts entering second Milch's atmosphere. We find Momo and Junior already up here, watching the flames of friction crawl up the Elsa's exposed front window. Why are we landing on Milcha? Is the ship all fucked up?
No, I don't think we're landing on Milcha. We're trying to escape Milcha because
Well, then why are we going into the Milchian atmosphere?
we're trying to get out of the Milcha atmosphere. The Elsa is not equipped for re-entry.
Well, I know, but then why did we enter the Milchian atmosphere in the first place? Was it part of the escape shit?
Yes.
Okay.
I think.
What else could it be, I guess?
Yeah, because the whole point of this next section is to like level our shit off.
Matthews and Alan are in mid-conversation, with Alan screaming that the angle of approach is too steep, something he would definitely know about. Matthews demands they adjust it. Tony tells the boys he can't, the controls are not responding. Hammer can't believe this shit, as all of the control functions are, quote, in the green. Finally, goddammit, Tony puzzles it out with indecipherable horse shit.
The apogee and re-entry balances were damaged by the debris. We can't adjust the logical drive angle any further than this.
How's that do you for a little bit of space?
A little bit of Tony?
Yeah.
A little bit of reverse trench running.
Yeah.
A little bit of Return of the Jedi, Escape the Death Star with Lando Calrissian and that guy with the weird face.
What's that guy's name?
Weird face guy.
Okay.
You want to ask the fake net?
Yeah, I do. I need to know what his name is.
Fake net, what's that guy's name?
Initializing fake net.
That would be 9 Nunby, dumbass.
I don't know. For as much Star Wars as I've consumed in the past couple of years, I don't remember any of the goddamn names.
He bothered me because his lips were always so wet.
His lips were wet, weren't they?
all the fucking time. Maybe it's just like a glossy puppet.
Wouldn't it be funny if that was something that was added in the reissues?
Yeah, they had to glisten his lips.
Sure.
Missed the Muppet. Matthews, the ever-patient and vigilant captain, deploys the moron slur and demands someone do something about this shit. He asks, I believe sarcastically, if they all want to be vaporized.
I love Matthews, by the way.
My favorite Canadian. Hammer tells us the whole temperature is exceeding maximum limits. From space, the Elsa looks like a flying fireball. We fade out to the Elsa barreling across second Milch's outer orbit. Chris, are they laying it on too thick here? Like, too many this thing's all fucked up messages from different people? Or is it just enough?
I think it's just enough, but we are having like two sequences of this shit's so fucked up.
Yeah.
And KOSMOS is going to have to pull our nuts out of the fire.
I can't imagine that this was written with 2 aircraft escape sequences in a row.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. If it was, then it's malpractice.
Like, yeah, malpractice. Like the
narrative malpractice.
The basic rules of any kind of pacing would forbid that, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like something else was supposed to happen. Also, I feel like based on the events that are about to unfold, that this would have been a perfect, like, please insert disc 3 moment and not a end of video game moment.
Elsa, whole cutscene. In total silence, senses immune to the chaos and the calamity, we find Chaos chilling alone in the Elsa's lower decks.
By himself. Have we ever seen Chaos by himself?
I don't think so. We've seen him with KOSMOS while she's passed out, but that got ruined pretty quickly.
He was with Alan in the park, and Alan is basically no one.
That's right.
He's a fragment of someone.
Chaos Pav. Chaos is thinking back to his conversation with Nephilim, where she asked,
What will you do?
And what I can only describe as the weirdest shot of this game, we then briefly cut to Chaos's first-person view of his extended fists. Music, The Girl Who Closed Her Heart plays. Chaos looks over to find KOSMOS riding the elevator down in a scene that's been foreshadowed since Chaos looked over her sleeping body. At this moment, Chris, literally anything could happen here and it would be fine. I've got some suggestions here. Tell me if these are beyond belief.
Okay.
They could have a real conversation about secret conspiracy shit.
Okay, that would work, but I would probably put that at the bottom of the list to start in terms of like what I think would be the best execution. Yeah,
but okay. So yeah, it's best executed, and so you think plausible, but not best execution.
Yes.
Okay. Next, they could fight.
I would love to see it. We love fighting on this podcast. We love to see people fight, but I think any sort of Chaos versus KOSMOS fight needs more build up. So I'm moving that even further to the bottom.
Next, they could have a tea party.
No, that again would be great, but no.
Next, they could say nothing.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
I thought that she was just going to walk past and this was going to be some sort of foreshadowing for something that was going to happen in the next game or something.
And finally, because it's me, I have to say they could fuck.
I think we learned previously that Chaos has only wet holes, right?
Yeah.
So I guess they could.
Yes, they could.
But KOSMOS, I think, has no interest in that unless it serves some sort of programmatic purpose.
Yeah. I did think, but like when she heard that elevator down, they're both here. That was like a serious oh shit moment. Like some shit is about to go down.
They're going to be alone together, and something is about to be able to be explained because
something cool
because no one else is around to interrupt the moment of chaos doing some chaos stuff.
And the plot demands their participation. What does happen is KOSMOS walks right by Chaos as if he's not even there. Chaos's head swivels and he says an inquisitive, "You're," and then screams for her to wait.
You're... Wait!
KOSMOS no-sells it, responding,
"Relinquish your pain unto me."
What? Sounds like something Jesus would say. I feel like I would almost expect Chaos to say that to KOSMOS rather than KOSMOS to say it to Chaos.
Yeah, that is not robot programming. That is some human shit, I think. Like, that is a conclusion she's arrived at.
Yeah, because she has been programmed with the Bible, probably. Didn't Jesus tell us to relinquish our pain unto him? Isn't that how that works?
Didn't he absolve all of our sins?
Yes, isn't that the relinquishment of pain?
It can
the absolution
of
sins?
That. I have a much dumber analogy. Do you want to hear that?
Yeah.
KOSMOS has wondered if feeling pain will make her complete. She's about to Jerry Maguire you to complete me herself.
Jerry Maguire you to... I mean, that's not as dumb as you let on, because we are dealing with thematics in pretty much all Takahashi games that deal with the concepts of becoming whole.
Who's the your pain? Is it Chaos's pain or the collective pain?
That's a really, really good question.
Like, can she sense there's shit inside Chaos that's boiling?
I think the first question we have to ask is, does Chaos have pain? Does he carry pain?
He was panicked earlier.
I think he carries pain.
That's pain. That panic is anxiety, and anxiety is pain.
He knows everything, and if knowing everything is nothing if not a burden.
Dude, can you imagine the stress of knowing everything and shit's going off model?
And you can't say anything about it because you don't want your party members to know for some reason?
You also fuck up it anyway if you do say it, like if you move the game board pieces.
Yeah. What was the original question again?
Who's relinquish your pain under me? Who's pain? Like the collective pain and the chaos pain.
Okay, I have a nested answer here.
All right.
Okay. She's speaking with Chaos, but Chaos is so cosmically important that he carries the pain of all humanity.
Okay.
So yes to all. That's what we're going with?
That's what I'm going. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
KOSMOS exits stage left. Chaos's lips move, but no words come out, and that's like the 5th time this game has done this. God damn it. I have no idea if it's a mistake or intentional. What do you think? He definitely talks. He says something, but no words come out.
Who?
Chaos.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, you're right. His lips move.
What the fuck is that?
Can we find out if he said anything in Japanese?
You probably can. It'll take me a minute, and I'll hate it when I do it, but let's do it.
Fake net. Figure it out.
Initializing fake net.
Chaos also shouts into silence in Japanese. For giggles and shits, here is the preceding audio where Chaos asks KOSMOS to wait, and she tells him to relinquish pain.
君が待って。あなたの痛みを私にください。
Elsa Bridge cutscene. Music escape plays. Back on the bridge, Hammer notices the aft hatch has opened. Oh man. And the gang can't believe this shit. Shion says it can't be, even though this is the second time KOSMOS has pulled this exact stunt, so it definitely can be. Out in space, KOSMOS leaps off the Elsa and the arms cross-drop and belly flops into the flames. Shion cannot believe this shit. Burning alive out in space, KOSMOS tells the gang her plan.
Shion, I will proceed to shield the Elsa with my energy field. Please stabilize the ship during that time.
Chris, that's a bad plan. That's what I think, and so does Shion.
Don't be ridiculous! What can you possibly accomplish by doing that?
But Chris, KOSMOS has the data, the calculations, and the science.
Do not worry. Maintaining this position for 1 minute and 20 seconds will save the Elsa.
You could say that KOSMOS has the power of the science.
She does.
See the power of the science!
Science Christ. Shion believes KOSMOS will be incinerated if she does that. Chris, what is the value of the second consecutive sacrifice play? Like, why do this twice after KOSMOS just finished staying behind to blow up the space station? I think we already talked about that with the second spaceship escape, but it's like...
Yeah, I think it's just it is a time compression, basically.
Time compression, or is it like, is KOSMOS feel she's fated for sacrifice? Like, is that her secret Kevin programming if she has to die at this juncture? And she keeps trying to kill herself.
Wasn't the Ellie character throughout all the generations in Xenogears, always predisposed to wanting to sacrifice herself?
Yes.
There you have it.
Yep. We solved it.
I don't know why I just did a peace be with you motion with my hands.
Thank you. You did it.
I'm a priest.
Thank you. Video feed, patreon.com. Shion demands Cosmos stop this at once, which has never worked. Cosmos listens to Shion about as well as my cat listens to me, and yet I still try, so I guess I understand. Cosmos, out in space and breaking up, signs off with,
I am happy to be of service.
I wish it was just I'm happy.
Yeah, because I am happy to be of service does sound like something that like a ATM or a McDonald's kiosk might say.
And that's what your Philip K. Dick robot says when it kills itself.
Yeah.
The external camera is destroyed. Everything is fucked. But then we cut back to the basement, where Chaos's hands begin to glow. He stares at them with resignation. We cut to Nephilim alone in a field.
Can I interject real quick?
I was going to say, because what happens next makes me like shit my pants through the floor into the fucking foundation of my house.
I just want to point out that during this sequence, as we're getting these quick cuts, the music is swelling in a perfect way.
Okay, so after we get Nephilim alone in the field, we cut to motherfucking Abel or Fei Fong Wong or whatever playing with levitating blocks in a white room.
Oh, a gifted child blocks.
Gifted child blocks, yeah. The blocks you see gifted children playing with.
It's just fucking Fei Fong Wong. This is not a whiff. This is somebody grabbing your hair and shoving your face into the shit.
Yes, that is. I've got capital letters. Fuck, I forgot this was here. I'm alive for this one moment. Fuck me up. Takahashi, keep a straight face while you say it's separate from Xenogears, you motherfucker.
I'm alive for this one cup. I'm going to whiff it.
Yeah.
Let's whiff it.
Yeah.
The final whiff count comes in at 25.
Nice even number. Did you remember this shit?
Yeah.
I forgot.
There were a couple things that I remembered about this game going into it. One was like all the Ziggy rescue mission stuff for some reason that stuck in my brain.
Solid Snake.
No. And this.
Yeah. Like I knew there's more. There's a literally, Xenogears is in episode 3. Like literally that robot is like an Easter egg you can fight in there.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that like they're just doing this on purpose now. But I don't like, how do you, it's literally Abel. It's literally Faye.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't like not try to like part the hair differently. It's the same fucking character.
Yeah. And I think the story in Xenogears with Abel was that he was just on a ship when in his yearning for a mother created the whole process.
Yeah.
But if you were to try to tie it back to this, then Abel is more of a scenario piece probably than just some kid on a ship.
Yeah. It really does. Like they're just everything's the same story. We then cut to Wilhelm, chin resting on the back of his fingers, curiously staring at the spinning compass of order. Of course, that's what he's doing. We then go to space.
He's got his compass is not just he's not just staring at his compass is fully erect.
Oh,
because I think the whole point of this swell of scenes is that all of the important pieces of the scenario are acknowledging the gravitas of the events unfolding in the real world right now and how they impact their scenario. The thing that triggers all this is Cosmos being happy to be of service, I think. Like Cosmos
and Chaos deciding to act.
Yeah, Chaos. Has he looked at his glowing hands yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, by the way, the Chaos looking at his glowing hands is my favorite part of the game. Because it's like just fucking finally Chaos has done something to signify his...
Done something to do something?
His importance, yeah.
Other than curing Cherenkov of whatever.
Oh, yeah. Also, when he Christed the Gnosis away at the beginning of the game. I had forgotten about that.
We cut back to space where Cosmos is holding on the fort as she burns up, as her rock-hard abs endure the flames. Back on the bridge, Shion buries her face in her hands and begs Cosmos to stop. Back out in space, Cosmos dramatically looks up. Her face looks different without her bangs or her hair burned off or pushed back or whatever's happening here. Way more childlike. Anyway, her eyes glow blue.
And I think we talked about the blue eye switching stuff back when she did her Gnosis suck-up move.
Right, the Gnosis suck-off.
Yeah, and our, I guess, hypothesis there was that her eyes turn blue whenever she reaches a state that is closer to being...
She does a human?
A human, yeah, does a human thing. But human is a relative term in this world, but does something that signifies that she has a...
She's understanding sacrifice,
soul, yeah.
A human gesture. I don't think animals sacrifice themselves. Maybe they do. I've seen Bambi. From space, we see the tip of the Elsa glow blue. From inside the flight deck, and it's a really neat angle from behind Shion's back, we can see the blue glow from there too. It's also here where you start to see feathers start blowing up the windshield.
Feathers?
We cut back to space, and the Elsa slowly becomes engulfed in white, hot angel wings. We then see the bridge, head on, starting with Tony, enveloped in the orange glow of God's love. Fade to white. Second Milsha cutscene. We cut to an open body of water in the evening sky. The camera lingers here for a while, and I gotta say, Chris, it's very peaceful. Chris is insane for not liking the beach and its proximity to good sunsets and large bodies of water. Editorial note.
I like sunsets.
Is that all we see of the angel wings, Elsa? Is it like a glimpse? Again, I'm confusing this with the fucking anime.
Yeah, we only see him for a few seconds, and this is the first time that I've even noticed the fact that there are feathers flying off of it in that scene.
Oh, I thought you said feathers for effect, not because you didn't actually see that there were feathers.
No, there was supposed to be a question mark at the end of my feathers.
Oh,
but I just checked, and yes, feathers confirmed.
Yeah, dude, fucking. And this is one of the few times when the game does show restraint with only giving you a little taste of this stuff.
Yeah,
as opposed to hammering its themes over and over again. The Elsa hums along, battered and charred, but structurally sound. The first person we see on the bridge of the Elsa is
Matthews.
Tony.
He's
solemn and staring down at the controls. We cut to Hammer, hands folded over his workstation as the sunshine from heaven fills the cabin. Alan, too, sits in silence, and they think that KOSMOS is like fucked, right?
Yeah.
All right. Our party of heroes is shown next. Shion is sitting on the floor, head bowed down. We only see Junior, Momo, and Ziggy from the waist down. Chris, I assume that despite living, everyone's sad because of KOSMOS' apparent sacrifice. They know nothing of Chaos's angel maneuver.
So that was Chaos.
In my head, Chaos with the glowing blue hands enveloped in angel wings because of the fucking key art with Chaos with angel wings.
Really? Okay. I don't see it that way. I see it as
why does hands glow blue?
Because he's activated.
That's it? It's a thermometer?
Yeah, it is simply his hands are pulsating because he's being called by God or something to do something next in the next game or something.
I read that as KOSMOS is a piece on this board and can't be sacrificed right now, but she's going to actually fucking do it, so you better save this shit.
Okay.
And that was like him activating the save this shit, intervene with fate powers.
I mean, the fact that you just brought this up, but like it works because we've seen Chaos with angel wings. He's got a move called angel wings.
Yeah, that too. Like the angel, to me, I don't think KOSMOS as the Christic figure could have wings like that. Like that. She could have wings. We know that because of the fucking visions of the future where it's devilish.
They are sort of two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, and it's open to interpretation too, which makes it kind of cool as you don't have a definite answer on this. Matthews, in Caution He's a Boozer, breaks the tension. He asks if they're okay. Matthews then raises his captain chair back up and says, "Hey, Miss Vector," then commands Hammer to activate the secondary bow camera. It bleeps up on the screen, and we see from a distance a human figure standing on the nose cone, long blue hair blowing in the wind. Shion can't believe this shit, and it cuts to an extended shot of KOSMOS' luxurious blue flowing hair.
Yep, it is very luxurious.
Now Shion can believe this shit, saying KOSMOS' name again. We cut to KOSMOS' face, red eyes, staring out into the sunset or sunrise, whatever that is. The camera zooms out to KOSMOS and her ripping 8-pack standing proudly at the Elsa's nose cone. Music, Kokoro, again with vocals by
Joanne Hogg,
plays as Momo runs up to tug at Shion's arm. Shion looks on, squinting slightly as she's either about to cry or because she's staring directly at the fucking sun. Back outside, the Elsa speeds off over a large body of water. I cannot fucking believe the game is ending here. What's Albedo's deal? Where is he? What did we learn about Shion? Did anyone experience any measure of growth? I do not love explaining the chaos shit. That should be a fun mystery.
Where's Margulis?
Where's Margulis?
Where is Margulis?
What happened to that plot angle? Who had the glasses? Which I think someone on YouTube told us was Sellers. We didn't name. The weird guy with the small sunglasses?
Yeah.
That was Sellers. He plays a bigger role in episode 2.
I saw someone on YouTube talking about Sellers, but I didn't know who. I thought they were talking about like a background character.
No, that is Sellers. I don't think he had a name in this game. But that's Sellers.
The hell kind of name is Sellers?
It's a good name.
Piece of shit.
Fuck you. Sellers, not you.
His glasses.
That's not actually the last scene. We'll wrap it all up in a minute because there's credits.
Yeah, there's lots of credits. Do you want to read them all? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, good. There's also a little window on the left side of the credits with additional sequences.
I love additional sequences.
The first one at the edge of the cliff on 2nd Milsha at Cape Howell showcases Jin Uzuki approaching a grave and kneeling down in prayer.
Oh, that guy.
He looks up to see falling debris from Proto Merkabah streaking across the sky. The Elsa also flies by.
He's wondering if he's going to still be able to live a life as a son of man.
And he'll see that I'm a character in the next game.
Yes.
We then cut to Guinan Kukai's office on the Durandal. He's on a call with Helmer. There's dialogue.
Judging from the circumstances, it's clear that the UTIC organization's target is on Wilshire.
No fucking shit, guys.
Yeah.
Helmer responds with Milsha with a strange sense of comfort, then relaxes back his chair and takes a deep breath. Guinan continues with a linguistic banger.
There's a vortex of temptation and obsession that still remains. That's what continues to draw them in. And Albedo, he's being drawn in just the same.
Who's the rest of them?
I was gonna say, what is them? Is like them our cast of heroes, or are there more Albedo dude fucking players out there? Are there more villainous entities that are being drawn in by this?
A vortex of what? Obsession?
Dude, there's a vortex of temptation and obsession that still remains.
A vortex of temptation. I mean, he could be talking about like Wilhelm and his Testament guys.
Testamentmen?
Testamentmen.
Hombres del Testamento.
Maybe. I wish at the end of the conversation Helmer would have turned his chair around and just said, "Oodoo."
This should have happened. Chris, quick question, long question.
Yeah?
Do heroes and villains want the same thing in this game?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Who are the heroes?
Exactly. Are we the heroes? What if Margulis is good, actually?
We don't know what's going on. And when I say we, I mean like Shion and party. We're just trying to fucking survive.
I just want the robot to be a girl and to live.
We just showed up, got fake arrested, and then we're told by Yuli Mizrahi to go save the world.
Yeah, make sure Alan doesn't kill himself.
Yeah, that's true. We have to do that. So if the good guys is the Guinan Kukai sector, and the bad guys are the Wilhelm and the Margulis sector.
I mean, I guess we're seeking the Zohar, right?
Then yes. So if Shion and friends are in the Y data, then perhaps circumstances are leading them to this vortex of temptation, and they don't know it because they're being controlled by the divine visitor.
So they're coming by it through innocence, whereas Margulis and his crew are trying to seek it by force.
They're attempting to manipulate the scenario to their own ends, which we don't really know what those ends are, but it's probably some sort of goop scenario. But
fucking goop. Yeah. Helmer apparently didn't know about any of this Albedo shit because he then says,
Albedo? You mean the URTV Albedo? He's still alive?
Guinan closes with some foreshadowing.
He will not die. Not until that time arrives.
Dude, that time should have had M-dashes.
I know. This is the second or third time in this game where we've had some sort of reference to
that time.
Coming to a time.
We then cut to space. Albedo is still out here drifting in Simeon.
Now that was entertaining. All that remains is for Marpesh to link up with the UMN, and my objective will be complete.
So all this shit was a setup for Momo to hook into Wi-Fi. Did he upload some shit inside of Momo so that it poisons the UMN when she connects with it?
That would be interesting thematically, because the UMN being like the Undus Mundus network.
Yeah, the whole internet, the thing that powers all of our space travel and email.
And the thematic analog is just the undercurrent of whatever the Undus Mundus is in Jungian psychology. I forgot, some sort of underlying...
I think it was like the
man
knowledge or something like that.
Yeah.
But this was also at the time when broadband was super taking off and when we were all starting to be online all the time instead of just some of the time.
Oh, you think that we're going to a...
yeah, it's just like some Y2K shit.
Metal Gear Solid 2 type shit, like surveillance state, always online connectivity. You can't share your Xbox discs.
I struggle to understand the purpose of the UMN as a space travel network and a dictionary and a phone call system. Like with the way Takahashi games work, I think there had to be some greater thematic purpose here that is not connected to a Jesus Christ or Gnostic gospel or Norse mythology.
Yeah.
This is just like, man, the fucking internet.
Yeah.
In the wild.
Is it so you think that perhaps...
That's how messages spread faster with, this shit.
Do you think that Albedo's scenario has something to do, or anybody's scenario has something to do with the connectedness of the internet into everyone's brains innately or something?
It might. I mean, if he's relying on Momo to hook up into this shit, then that's part of the plan.
Huh.
It was all work to get viruses in Momo.
That's some shit.
My dude flips on the boosters and says, "Do heed my message, Rubedo," and then laughs maniacally. What message? Don't get pissed off?
I'm going to fuck you up and take your girl.
You abandoned me. We then cut to the only place I want to be, Wilhelm's office.
Yeah.
Where he sits and toils with the Red Testament.
Yep.
Red Testament speaks.
We've confirmed a gate jump by Albedo's craft. This is acceptable?
Big question mark on not this is acceptable. It is, this is acceptable? And does Red Testament ever question Wilhelm like this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think my dude's worried. Wilhelm, standing up with his hands clasped behind his back, responds.
Yes, that's fine. The door that leads to Abel's Hogg. He is the only one who can open it.
That voice line is hard to hear in the mix, so let's repeat it. Yes, that's fine. The door that leads to Abel's Ark. He is the only one who can open it.
Is Abel's Ark in the place that was accessed via the Y data?
Here's my line that I wrote.
Yeah.
This drove me nuts for 2 fucking years. What is Abel's Ark? We just saw motherfucking Abel and now he has an ark with a K.
He has an ark with a K, that's true.
This is the shit that like you're just typing to your friend on AIM. Like what could this, and we have no clues in 2003. Whatever.
Yeah, the only clue.
What does that mean? We're not supposed to know what that means, right?
No, we're not supposed to know what that means. But I think it is something else that is locked away in secret space.
Yeah.
Is Abel's Ark on Old Milsha? I don't know.
I honestly don't know if the Abel shit's even ever brought up again.
Why?
I have no idea. I forgot.
I think it is.
I mean, how could it not be? But like, I would remember it, right? Well, I remember this, so I guess not. Shit. Red Testament has one more concern.
There's a possibility that he may link with Udo again.
Wilhelm responds with confident lore.
That won't happen. He doesn't have that much power. He's only a key. Of course, we must accept the possibility that he can affect space-time anomalies to some extent. But that's what all of you are for. Still, his will shines with such wondrous light. It's a shame to relegate him to such a minor role.
That won't happen. He doesn't have that much power. He's only a key. Of course, we must accept the possibility that he can affect space-time anomalies to some extent. But that's what all of you are here for. Still, his will shines with such wondrous light. It's a shame to relegate him to such a minor role. Don't you think? There's a lot there. There's a whole lot in that.
There is a whole lot there.
So, first, all of you. So, Blue Testament and Red Testament and more?
Any other testaments that may be out there?
Future testaments. Testament's roles are either or include Albedo, Key of Nebuchadnezzar maintenance. Like, Albedo has to control the key to access all this shit. Like, they have to let him go and do it.
Is that because he was the one to access the data?
Since he made first contact with the data, he has to be the one to find further use for that data?
I guess, but also it feels like Wilhelm and friends are already privy to all the information that was already in there, I think.
But it's like knowing, maybe you've got like some inside information on how a game is going to go, and you've made a bet on it, but you still have to watch the game be played. Even though like Oakland just signed a new running back, but Wilhelm's like, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
It's not going to
The score is going to be the same.
Yeah.
The score might be different, but the end will be the same.
I think that's probably safe, but I still don't understand the machinations of Albedo and why he's... I don't know if Albedo is important or if he has made himself important by what he did.
Well, I think that's further answered by his will shines with such wondrous light.
Oh, he has a strong will to power.
Yeah. Wilhelm admires Albedo and wants to co-opt that will for more shit, like in hockey when you need goon power to intimidate the other team.
So he can just Luigi's Mansion suck up the will of power after it's
from that individual, yeah, if he sees the light. Like, I think that's an admiration. His will shines with such wondrous light. It's a shame to relegate him to such a minor role, which means we've got bigger plans for this motherfucker. If you've played future games, you know he has bigger plans for him. Wilhelm specifically.
Is Wilhelm a Nazi?
I don't know. I don't think we quite know yet. I think his haircut is cool, which is a Nazi facet.
Because he's kind of talking like one a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. All the German doesn't really help.
Yeah.
When Wilhelm says, "Don't you think," after he says minor role, he looks directly at Red Testament. Also, Wilhelm sounds and moves like a human there. It isn't some rehearsed and deeply considered compass of order line. Like, the "don't you think" is like the only human thing he says in this game to me.
Oh,
Am I reading too much into that? Yeah, maybe. But it's like he's improvising himself on that.
Instead of him just being back there, twiddling his thumbs, saying scenario guy things?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this is like he's going off script for this.
Yeah.
I don't have much evidence for that, really. It's based only on his head turn, but I feel like Wilhelm wants to do some shit with Albedo, not dictated by his compass of order. We cut back to the bridge of the Elsa. Shion is on my wording. Ziggy has his comforting hand on Momo's shoulder. Alan is anime head scratching, and Junior is shaking. You know how Michael Jordan has the Jordan pose, right? Like it's the Air Jordan.
Yeah, the Air Jordan logo. Yeah.
Alan is that, but it's the head scratch.
Oh yeah, of course.
Junior is shaking his head. I guess at Alan because Junior punches Alan in the back. Did you catch that? Junior hits Alan.
No, just to let him know that.
Like stop being
Alan.
We cut to a different angle, and Junior is actually pointing at Alan and saying something inaudible. But then everyone turns around to see a new arrival on the elevator. From a tilted angle, we see it's KOSMOS. Momo, Ziggy, Junior, and Alan run in slow motion toward KOSMOS. Shion is the last to turn around, but when she does, it's a Michael Bay swinging camera full head spin, complete with her hair twisting around with the momentum. Chaos now appears. And I stress the word appears from behind. He appears from behind.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Is this part of Chris theory? Was he there the entire time?
I'm checking the tape.
He appears from behind KOSMOS.
He's not there when they're all running in slow motion towards her. And then when Shion turns around and sees everybody, and then we see a shot from behind Shion's head. I gotta enhance this, man.
Can I read one more line that could help this?
Yeah.
The camera centers on KOSMOS and pans up from her body to her face. Chaos is split down the middle on the right side of the screen. Literally half of him is in the frame, and I must believe there is a reason for this.
Oh, it looks like he's missing a goddamn arm.
Like the frame cuts him off.
That's weird, because when Shion turns around and sees KOSMOS standing there, it's only for a second as the camera pans upward to reveal KOSMOS' face, but it looks like Chaos isn't even there yet.
Yeah. So this is the most moneyed game in the entire series. I think they had the biggest budget for this, and all of the cutscenes are aggressively staged and directed. Like none of this shit happens on accident, I think. Like someone thought about all of this more so than the static character models in 2 or 3 that kind of like weirdly animate to save money.
Yeah.
So somebody did that on purpose, and I fucking want to know the reason why. Not that there is one, but I want to know.
Okay, he's holding... All right, for a minute I thought he was missing arms or something, but I want to know too.
KOSMOS, the god robot, speaks.
Yeah.
Mission complete. Shion.
Mission complete, Shion.
Stop talking like a robot, goddammit.
The party is now framed in a line. Ziggy, Momo, KOSMOS, Chaos, Junior, Alan. Shion looks on, standing with her hand outstretched. She lowers her hand, lowers her head, and then looks up. She tilts her head and smiles as she closes the game with...
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I thought she was going to say good morning.
Yeah, it's not morning. I guess it could be morning, but...
Fade to Black, Monolith Software Inc., produced by Namco, to be continued.
Oh, you're telling me this is Xenosaga Episode 1?
Yeah.
Well, goddamn.
Fuck, man, this is a lot of work, but also part of me wishes at this moment we were plowing right into Xenosaga 2. We're in it, and I don't know how much we're going to forget before we get there.
We're going to have to listen to the whole podcast.
That was my next note.
Yeah.
Thank God we had this tool to help us get back.
Yes, this podcast
only 33 episodes
is a tool.
What do we think here, Chris?
I liked the way this ended with the mystery of like what's going on with Chaos and KOSMOS and what is the relationship and what is the importance of the rest of the party to the grander scheme of things. But most of that stuff we've been wondering about for a better part of half the game. And to end the game with getting basically nothing.
I was going to say, is this very obviously not finished because there's definitely going to be a sequel, and is that shit fucking legal? Can you do that?
Can you cut it off like this?
Yeah, can you do this?
I mean, I think this
Were you pissed off or excited?
I think that the way the execution, especially like in the back half of this ending, makes me, or at least made me exciting.
Yeah.
Made me excited. But I don't think it is legal.
At this moment in 2003, when it came out here, we were knee deep in sequels to popular media mania. I think Lord of the Rings was going to finish this year. 2 Matrix sequels was this year, and we're in between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, so it felt like it was plausible that this was going to play out in a way that was going to be really special. And I guess it does, but...
To me, this was like Xenosaga 2 was my second most anticipated media thing after episode 3, basically.
Yeah.
It was a year. It was like months before episode 3 when it came out here.
Wow.
Also, if you want a refresher, I did play the beginning of Xenosaga 2, And after the Kanan Chaos Jin prologue, a new voice from Shion goes over major plot beats in the first game.
Oh, good.
So you get a quick refresher.
Great. Xenogears was constrained heavily and somehow grew beyond itself.
Told a complete story. Despite having a perfect works, it's told way more of a story. I got closure out of Xenogears.
A complete arc, yes. And whereas I think Xenosaga failed to do so. It has a good cast of characters.
Oh, yeah. I love all these guys.
You know?
Chris, in our first episode for this season, we were talking about expectations. You said you expected to see a narrative where adults fail or experience failure, and I had no idea what that meant. And those adults have to deal with that failure. I ask you now, what did you get any of that? Was that here?
I don't think it fully played out yet, but I think that for the most part, at least with the adult characters,
yeah,
they are all having to work through some stuff, through some trauma, except for maybe Shion. I don't know if Shion is working through bits of failure. I think she's just working through the trauma of what happened to Kevin. But I guess maybe her failure is the fact that KOSMOS isn't a person yet.
I mean, she flashes back to the Kevin shit a couple of times, but she doesn't seem particularly haunted by it, as haunted as she is by not getting the goals accomplished with KOSMOS and all the black box shit inside KOSMOS.
Yeah. Yeah. I am thinking about it from the perspective of like, we have a cast of characters that are adults, and are they going to actually deal with any adult type of problems? And with the exception of Ziggy, I think the answer is no. Like, Ziggy's dealing with an adult problem, an existential problem. Everybody else, I'm not sure. I would love to know what Chaos's existential problem is. That's all I really care about now, I think.
Yeah.
Is like, what is his existential dread, and what is he working towards?
Does Chaos have Compass of Order mobile version?
Does he have a Compass of... he's stressing...
Even an app for that?
Yeah, he's stressing about his glowing hands. His hands only glow when the scenario is perfectly aligned, I guess. I don't know. Junior's kind of an adult, I guess. And
technically also not, because he acts like a child.
Yeah, but he's just dealing with like regular JRPG trauma.
Yeah, he is... Junior is who you would assume is the protagonist.
Yeah.
If this was a normal game.
Yeah.
I do think it was bold to get a female-fronted RPG at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah. And
not sexualize her overtly, kind of like Aya was.
Yeah, I don't think Shion is sexualized overtly. There's a
swimsuit scene.
There's a couple of like, was there a butt shot early on?
There's some anime bendovers that are regrettable.
Yeah, the
anime, not the game.
In the anime. I think a lot of times when you look at, this is probably a conversation we should also have with Godhand, but when you look at like character designs, and are they gratuitous or overly sexualized, or are they just like hot people? A lot of times, I think the way that you can tell when you're observing media is like how the camera is framed on those characters.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, like, is this just a lady with big tits, or is this a lady with big tits that we're going to zoom the camera in on whenever she is, I
mean, you kind of get that with Mary a little bit, with the fucking triangle tit window. But also the context of the game demands that. Like, I think you expect Godhand to be grindhousey as shit.
Yeah.
Whereas that would look out of place in Xenosaga.
But Godhand like just does that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like constantly. And I think there is a level of gratuity to that. Whereas I think Xenosaga mostly avoids that.
I do too. I think it's strangely mature in that way.
Even though KOSMOS looks like she does, like it doesn't link on that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But maybe, Shion and Kevin just want to make a hot robot lady,
Weird Science was a documentary.
I'm also ignoring all the Momo stuff when I talk about gratuity.
Yeah, about behaving correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy's so fucked up. How fucked up is this guy?
Yeah, how fucked up can we make this guy?
Well, good video game.
Hey, the video game's over. You want to consult the RealNet?
Initializing RealNet.
Hi, RealNet. What do you have to say today? Hope it's good, because I ain't got shit to say anymore. I'm done.
I'm out of words.
No one can ever ask me what I think about Xenosaga ever again. If you ask me, I'm just going to send you a link to my podcast. Sorry. Dill 6 Row says, as a listener who discovered the retrograde Amnesia Xenogears season after it was fully recorded and released, and having experienced the anticipation and payoff of the Gears analysis after the fact, it's surreal and thrilling to join y'all in real time for the conclusion of the saga.
Hell yeah.
Let the saga take you.
Well, the conclusion of the opening of the saga. The end of the beginning. What's funny is you haven't seen the anime yet, and originally I had proposed for Chris and I to record the last anime episode and this episode on the same day, because they're real close.
Are they?
It's almost the exact same thing.
Cool. I haven't watched it yet. I'm on, I think I have 3 left to watch. Maybe 2.
So we get to relive this all again at patreon.com/retroam.
John Doe says, LOL, Chris needing to get asked into Eric's house like some kind of podcast vampire. That's what happened.
I mean, I currently have walk-in privileges here at the designated time, but usually my front door is locked.
Dill 6 says, oh my God, Junior is the coward, Albedo is id. Eric Vernon says that Guinan is the pimp.
I forgot all of those, the split Abel personalities. Guinan is the pimp.
He is. Joe Peasy Foshizi says, Sophie Peithos theme is the poor man's version of One Who Bears Fangs at God.
It has to be weird as a composer to make a soundtrack for something that is related to something else, but not a sequel to.
Joe Peasy Foshizi also mentions something about the final boss theme, or I'm sorry, about a song from episode 3 called Abel's Ark. So do that.
Well, it's playing now, so there we go.
Do that with what you may.
By the way, the soundtrack for episode 2, which we also sampled last episode, I think, it's fucking weird. It's like
really
upbeat keyboard music. Yeah.
The lady finally got her piano fixed.
Yeah, that's it.
John Doe says, Albedo is 100% just running the classic move of finding a post-facto justification for the shitty conclusion he was going to reach anyway. Yeah, that's a really good way to say it. Junior may have fucked up, but Albedo's response is, cool, now my genocide is justified. 7-8 says, Don Draper's destination is an early grave.
All the drinking, yeah.
Cliff Racer says, every anime/JRPG team has one guy who really loves cool mechanical devices that appear for 5 seconds. Talking about the reactor steam stuff.
Steam.
WP says, I can remember reading interviews about Xenosaga 2 before it came out, and them saying it was supposed to be about Junior's backstory.
Xenosaga 2 had a fairly large head start in Japan as well, I think.
John Doe says, Ziggy is definitely this game's Rico. That's fair.
Oh, I
mean, Ziggy's got more of a... I don't know. Rico's got a pretty complex backstory.
Yeah.
And then he does, like, just kind of join the party and disappear.
Yeah, I was going to say, Rico has a great backstory, but not much after that other than a brief hammer interlude.
And that's kind of Ziggy.
Yeah. If you had to draw straight lines, yes, I would map Rico to Ziggy.
John Doe says, Takahashi, don't have your final bosses reference the Demiurge challenge. Impossible. Yeah, I think all the Xenoblade bosses are some sort of Demiurge adjacent thing.
Eternal recurrence.
Mm-hmm. Eric Venon says, I can't hear exegesis and not hear exit Jesus.
Same thing, really.
Jesse says, I watched a whole bachelor party do mushrooms once. At one point, they all disappeared, and I found them in a room watching a screensaver.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of story that I love hearing.
That's really fucking good. I love it. 7A says, I want the final boss to be a Bishonen who turns into an abomination or an abomination that turns into a Bishonen. Dill 640 replies to that comment and says, I'm telling you all that Digimon is the best IP of all time. No context for that.
People say that a whole lot, but I refuse to believe it. As also a Pokemon hater, I can't accept anything like that.
John Doe says Final Fantasy X's endgame has some of the most blatant pandering to big number degeneracy of any of the mainline games.
It makes it sound cool.
Yeah. Well, you could get those weapons that would allow you to exceed the 9999 threshold, and then you could do wild shit. And it was satisfying, but it made the end of the game too easy.
I did everything in that game that didn't involve playing Blitzball. I dodged the lightning. I won the chocobo thing.
I dodged the lightning twice.
Jesus. Did you do it for somebody else?
I think so. I also did the chocobo balloon popping thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Twice on my own, and I did it for somebody else. I think I did it for Austin.
My guy's a ringer for Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. A lot of Final Fantasy X going on back then. It's all we had. It's all we had to do. We probably should have been doing other things.
I think Final Fantasy X-2 was out in English before this game.
Wow.
No, it would have been that December. Never mind.
Cliff Racer says, I didn't time it, but they almost certainly spend half of their minute of time arguing about who's going to push the button.
Yeah.
That was a long, yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that I think any decent second revision of a script would be like, okay, you cannot have them do this. But it's weird how a script can have so little thought, but then the animators making all of the shit have to spend God knows how long rendering all that out.
Yeah. Yeah. John Doe says, Netflix content is such a good derisive comparison. I do think that we should, and I know this isn't how language is evolving, but I think that the word content should be more of a slur.
Yeah, it is like content creation used to be like something someone would be proud of, but now content to me just equals slop. And as I get older and there's so much shit, I don't want to engage with content. I want to, or consume content. I want to watch and enjoy select pieces of media.
Yeah. But I do think that the term content creator is now the catch-all term for like a podcaster or a YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And it's not as derisive as it should be. Cliff Racer says, getting in one last mom line with Shion, a screenshot saying, Shion saying, you hear me? You better.
Go away, Mom. I'm watching TV.
John Doe talking about the ending, especially when people are running off the spaceship or the Proto Merkabah. Yeah, it's less that this moment isn't aesthetically pleasing. It's more just that the moment it's reaching for hasn't been earned yet.
Too much, too fast, for nothing.
John Doe says, KOSMOS' survival is so narratively unquestionable in this segment that it kind of makes Shion's worry about her feel manufactured and stupid, which I think is true, but Cliff Racer puts a good spin on that and says, I think that's the point of the scene. We've learned to trust KOSMOS, but Shion hasn't.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's an excellent read. He makes the viewer part of the narrative, kind of.
A divine visitor.
Yeah, that's it. Panty Dragon Saga miniseries at retrogradeamnesia.com
or something. 7-8 says, whenever I look inside my heart to see the solution, it says to me, shit's fucked.
Yeah, it's just a traced drawing of my own hand doing the middle finger.
Dragon Sword says, God, I remember asking a friend about this game, and all he said was, it has a hot robot lady, and there's a giant cross with the Apostle's name on it. And that's it.
Yeah, sure.
It works.
Give me up to 3 sentences. What is this game about, Chris?
Up to 3 sentences?
Up to 3, no more than 3.
I may not be able to get past 1. This game is about scenario, guys. This game, I think the thematic stuff that we brought up the most was what is a human? Or what is life?
A smattering of human and robot hybrids determine what is life.
Yes, something of that nature. Yeah, I think that's the thematics that the game engaged with the most. Although towards the end of the game, that got a little muddy, and it became more about the larger scenario
and anime.
But I think that if you also want to look at like the through line of Albedo and all of the fucked destiny clenching that he tries to do, there's something with that too that this game wants to talk about, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either.
You could boil it down to like, the will to power, right? Somewhere along the line, Mel said that she thought that Chaos's mouth movements were also silent in the Japanese version.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me. That seemed a little bit too much to just whiff. Whiff, swing the bat, not whiff, smell.
Yeah, whiff. 7-8 says this re-entry scene would have worked fine if they didn't just do this. Cliff Racer says there are 2 narrative beats that need to happen sometime in Xenosaga. Shion learns to trust KOSMOS, i.e. that KOSMOS will come back alive, and she says she's coming back alive. And Shion learns that KOSMOS' life is KOSMOS' life to give, i.e. she can self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
But they don't work back to back.
No.
Like those 2 things needed to be spread out.
I think you could ride the Mobius strip of crash ship escape, sacrifice them even further if they try to land the Elsa and the landing gear won't come down. So KOSMOS says, I will be the landing gear, grind me into the dust.
That might work.
A third fucked Elsa sequence.
There was like a really long lull in the middle of the game where Shion and KOSMOS didn't really have that. Their relationship didn't progress in that middle portion of the game. Like once we got to the Encephalon or maybe the Song of Nephilim, things started to slow down between those 2 until the ending. And now we have some bonus RealNet comments coming to you post-mortem because Eric was slowly turning into a husk or a corn cob or what have you and was unable to deal with the continued assault of RealNet comments. So I'm reading some here in post. And the ones that I mainly wanted to get to, some comments about Wilhelm, because I asked at some point during the podcast, is Wilhelm a Nazi? And some people had some thoughts about that. Dragon Sword says, has Wilhelm screamed yet? Aiden Uzuki says that Wilhelm also listens to Wagner. I feel like he's pretty Nazi-coded. I guess the Nazis loved Wagner. I don't know what the relationship is there, but there you go. Andy Hoof says, Wilhelm equals Rico's dad confirmed. TC says, feels like Wilhelm is more Nietzsche-coded, and unfortunately Nietzsche became Nazi-coded. John Doe says, wait, fuck, Wilhelm is another Nietzsche reference. Wilhelm is apparently Nietzsche's middle name. So there you go. John Doe says, this game has a shitload of Nazi-adjacent references between all the Wagner and Nietzsche and a fucking Dr. Strangelove. Yeah, very good. Aiden Izuki says, I think Shion's shit is pretty adult, and Jin comes in later and is also pretty good. Eric Fanon says, I think the biggest hurdle for this game for me, aside from the very big problem of everyone stilting voice acting, was how every goddamn thing was a setup. They needed to figure out a way to not dump so many proper nouns and mysterious guys into the game. I can go either way with that. I like the setups. I like the proper nouns. Those things get me going, but the lack of a complete arc for most of the characters is disappointing to me. John Doe says, we get a few sexualized bits with Shion. Her steal ability involves blowing a kiss and murdering the enemy with a glamour shot of herself. That must be the Queen's Kiss ability, which I never used. So if it's anything like it is represented in the anime, then yes, I agree. And finally, a comment here from 7-8 with no context says, I will never forgive Carl Jung for what he has wrought. I agree. Fuck you, Carl. Thank you, RealNet, for joining us tonight. We will see you on the next episode of Retrograde Amnesia, which will be Season 6. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Zodiac Brave story, warofthelions.com, or something. We'll see you then. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this season. It was another wonderful season where we did some exegesis on JRPGs. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on February 1st, 2024. Thank you, Mark
Shepard,
for the intro music.
Grass. You're welcome. Okay, I got another one.
You can reach us, I don't know why I did that first. You can reach us on email at podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com, Twitter at retroamnesiapod, YouTube at Retrograde Amnesia, or patreon.com/retroam and get bonus access to bonus episodes, miniseries, and access to the RealNet. Thank you once again, Mark
Shepard,
for your music and all that.
Chris, yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you to WorldSend for the podcast artwork. Eric, until next season.
Final Fantasy Tactics secret sound teaser noise not final.
Yes, we will blame God.
Playing with Leviticus, Mr. Rockhab.
Thank you, John Doe, for the idea for the Yes, We Will Blame God enter to this podcast. Copyright John Doe 2024. Thank you, John Doe. We love you.
Brother, but it's not.
Next time you go to someone's house, you see one of those fucking things that just say, walk up to it and whisper, Alexa.
I'm going to forget what that looks like in 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, just walk up to, next time you see a speaker in anybody's house, walk up to and say, Alexa, play the latest episode of Retrograde Amnesia, and then walk away.
But I think that's the point of it, but I don't see that and think it's a speaker. I think that's either like an orb to ponder or a sex thing. You just left that on accident.
You said that about my foam roller, too.
Yeah.
You said that was a sex thing.
When I see an object that I don't know what it is and I can't assign a purpose to it, I assume it's a sex thing.
Okay, well.
And I'm right most of the time.
Do you have anything we need to open the podcast with, or are we just going to get right into it?
I didn't come equipped with anything. If you give me up to 38 seconds, I can probably get something.
I was just going to say, do you want to record the final episode of Xenosaga?
Okay. I mean, I've been asking you why the fuck you think 11 a.m. is afternoon. Wanted to get an answer on that one for a while, but if you want
to... Yeah, we're going to have to say that when we're in more of a argumentative... once we're arguing about something else, then bring that up.
Just
okay?
like throw that in your face. If you're so smart, why do you... Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the executor for all of those who were destroyed. Peter. Roger.
What's Roger's last name? Roger
Sterling Cooper.
Roger Sterling.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Joan. You want to keep naming off Mad Men characters?
Peggy Olson, of course, the goat.
Megan Draper. Lane.
Fucking Lane. Didn't... Yeah. Lane
Lane did.
Mad Men was great. What was the question again?
Oh, geez.
Do Mad Men ever...
are they already mad?
Which will be season 6. Right? 6, right? Yeah, this was 5.
Yep.
I think the there's a lot of dumb bullshit in this game, and they are nuttin'.
Proto Merkabah is about to enter the atmosphere. If left unchecked, I'll crash into this planet? What?
Will crash into this planet.
Doesn't matter, it's getting deleted. We detach the subcompartments, and that's what's causing the shaking. Anyway, we'll get to the detail later. Prepare for immediate liftoff.
Shepherd, baby shepherd. Shepherd.
R&D report.
File number 026643. The anti-Gnosis battle android, KOSMOS, while undergoing startup and field testing on board the Federation cruiser Woglinde, awoke during a Gnosis attack on the fleet. She initiated autonomous mode, even though that mode was still sealed, and has been fully operational ever since. KOSMOS is acting under her own volition. However, there are many unstable elements in her emotional program, and further improvements will be required. After the escape from the Woglinde, we were rescued by the Elsa, a Kukai Foundation cargo ship. We are presently descending into 2nd Miltia in order to turn KOSMOS over to Vector's 2nd R&D division. Furthermore, while en route to Miltia, we took the 100 series observational Realian prototype, Momo, into custody. During this time, we were pursued by the UTIC organization and an individual called Albedo. Albedo's tenacious attack brought about the appearance of the Song of Nephilim and Proto Merkabah. KOSMOS' actions allowed us to overcome these crises. I believe this series of actions by KOSMOS has been greatly influenced by her black box components left behind by the late Kevin Winnicott. This will likely become a major focus of our future research. Report author, Shion Uzuki, Chief Engineer, KOSMOS Development Project General Operations, Vector Industries, 1st R&D Division.
This is Xenosaga episode 1.
Yeah.
Well, goddamn.
Playtime's over!